Okay, let's see if that did it. Can you see and hear me right now? Let me know. Let's see. Anything? No? Okay, great. Okay, excellent. Well. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Paleontologizing. Welcome back to a live dinosaur dig here in southern Wyoming. I apologize for being gone yesterday. It was all hands on deck here. Fisher and I finished up Turtle Hill and got done with that around 2 p.m. right when I usually start streaming, and then we came here and worked until about 9 o'clock, 9:30, something like that. Long day yesterday, and it will be another long day. We're here at the Ankylosaur site, and I wouldn't blame you if you don't recognize it. It has changed a lot over the past few days. We've got a ton of bones that are coming out left and right, and we're trying to get these out before Monday. It's going to be quite the undertaking. So, lots of productivity indeed, Starmy. Holy cow. Yeah. If it's your first time here, anybody, welcome to Paleontologizing. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist, and believe it or not, this is my full-time job, is doing science outreach on Twitch. So during the summers, I come out here to the field. I, collect fossils, gather data, conduct field paleontology, and now I get to share that with you thanks to the magic of Twitch and satellite internet. So glad you're here. Let me know if you've got any questions. I know we're starting a little bit early, and it probably will be a shorter stream today, given that I will have to help out with a lot of this other stuff. But wanted to make sure we squeezed in one stream today. There's a chance this will be our last one before we end up leaving. Again, we've got a tremendous amount of work to do here, and so I need to help out as much as I possibly can, and sometimes that precludes streaming. So, yeah. But yeah. Anyway, and are these all different stuff at the site, actually, Starmy? We've got ankylosaurs, we've got we've got a few crocodile elements, a few turtle elements, and now a tyrannosaur tooth as well. That's what Ethan and James are working on right down there. There we go. I'll show it to you in a little bit after they've got more exposed. But up here we've got some ankylosaur bits and other critters in this jacket. Each one of these lumps needs to be jacketed and extracted. We need to do all of this in the next couple days. So
several pockets.
Yeah, there's a tremendous amount of work to be done. Yeah. And hey, Lenina, how are you doing? Hello. And Crimson Carnotaurus says, I wonder if the Tyrannosaur will be Daspletosaurus due to the time of the site. We'll see. Nope. Probably not, but yeah. There's a good chance it's something new. There's a good chance everything here is something new. But, yeah.
Dinosaurus, that's one of my favorite dinosaurs.
Oh, I love Tyrannosaurus.
Oh. Guys, I think you missed a spot right there.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
What do we
Thank you.
You could have helped.
Instead, I'm slacking off doing some live streaming.
Yeah.
But,
doing your job. Who do you think you are? I got a question for you. How dare you?
But Ms. Drop Bear says, wow, those jackets are big. Yeah.
I don't know. We're gonna lift them.
We gotta figure it out in the next few days.
Yeah. That one fits by like maybe 1 inch. The one over there.
What's that?
That one fits by maybe like 1 inch.
That's gonna be a
It's
really
like
tight
5 foot
fit.
at the widest, and that's like 5'3" on.
Oh boy. Wow. Yeah, you guys need anything? I've got a free hand.
No, I think we're okay for now.
I think let's do an elbow bump instead.
Yeah.
But anyway, I know there's not a whole lot of people in the chat yet, given that we started a little bit early and this is early in the stream. But yeah, pretty soon we'll cue the Sarah McLachlan music and talk about how you can just by giving us money for a U-Haul truck in order to get some of these some of our gear back to where it needs. Budget is running really low. So I'll get into that in a little bit, and we'll have Ethan help me out with that plea. But yeah. And this is not another job for a helicopter, given that we can drive a truck right here. So there's no reason to have a helicopter. We've got this big giant truck right here. So we're going to be loading jackets into the back of this, and then taking them to our storage facility. And yeah. And oh, and Ash, yeah. So the tyrannosaur tooth was just discovered a few minutes ago, and yeah, we can talk about that in a little bit, but I'll let some other people trickle in first. Yeah, Stormy says I don't envy the people who have to lift those. That's gonna be us. That's gonna be me. Yeah. So yeah.
Throwback.
And a bunch of these like this is all going to have to be one jacket right here. They were trying to dig a trench through, as you can see right there, and that was not successful. So all of this is going to have to be one jacket. We've got to get this thing jacketed and then flipped and then lifted and everything, all in one or 2 days here. So again, tremendous amount of work. We're going to be working here till sundown. For probably the next 2 or 3 days. Today is what? Friday? So Saturday, Sunday. Hands on deck here. This is the only site closed all the ones.
Yeah, this corner.
I run it as deep as humanly possible.
Should I be pretty careful now that we found the tooth over there?
You should, yeah. I would go, but you keep it clean and you're pretty. You know
So
when you
just
find
take it
stuff.
at my pace.
I would take it at your pace because you know when you find stuff, you know what it looks like.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, ideally, hopefully we're gonna get the area in front of the
And
pond
our internet just cut out.
down a couple more feet.
Take a look at this.
Down a couple more feet.
And
I think that's a good use of time. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
all right, we're on. Yeah, I think we had a satellite swap. And Ash, it's too early to say whether that's an isolated tooth or whether it's associated with anything else, but we'll find out. Again, this is just a few minutes ago that this was uncovered. So yeah, this is developing as we speak. And
Wow. The sandbags there, since that one's good to go.
Same, okay.
they've got a crack team
You want one of these two?
making this jacket right here.
Sure.
This one's really important because there's a big ugly lump right there that contains probably something really important. We could have a skull in there, it could be a tail club, could just be some vertebrae, but there's something big and weird right there.
Yeah,
So it's really important to get this thing capped. That's exactly what they're doing. Yeah.
It's Randy. Randy's under that.
Andy's.
Appreciate you guys censoring yourselves.
We're trying.
Notice. I'm grateful. Over here. Did not look like this the last time a few days ago. This was the site looked completely different. Trenches that we've been digging, see the jackets that we've made. Before it was just like, these are, it looks like a real extensive quarry. This lump over here, some rock, okay.
I believe it's the part gar.
Yeah, both
Okay.
of
Had
these
to-
are the gar.
That's
Had to be
right,
split
okay, yeah,
in
the
half.
ones that
Yeah.
Peter was trying to trench through
Yeah,
and he got
Peter
that one
took,
inch
he
trench.
took out like 2 gar verts from here
Uh-huh.
to get it in half.
Nice.
Yeah.
So there's presumably skull material up here,
Uh-huh.
and there's also skull material up there.
Nice.
So we think it's 2 gar running
It's
anti-parallel.
a
Yeah, yeah.
headed car, right?
A 2-headed gar, yeah.
Yeah.
Nature paper.
Yeah. Exactly.
So yeah,
This is a female.
for those viewers who are not aware, gar, these big freshwater fish, they're still around today. This is every piece of the ecosystem that we can find and reconstruct. You know, we're collecting. There's dinosaurs, it's reptiles, it's even of this ancient ecosystem. We're collecting. This is real scientific fieldwork. Yeah. Oh, and I'm a Dragon 5'3". Hello to you, Hayden. Of course, you guys find a tyrannosaur tooth right after me and Shakira leave. It just happened a few minutes ago. Yeah.
Ontogeny.
Nice work, James.
What's this?
And yeah, that's awesome. It's also a little terrifying given that, you know, in order to trench around these jackets, we've just been blowing through this rock. And if it's yielding tyrannosaur teeth,
We can
that's...
start doing another layer now. So
Oh boy, it kind of gives me the chills. So we gotta be really careful. This is one of the reasons why we haven't finished this site yet, is we just have new things popping up left and right.
James. Where it's glued.
Yeah, shoot.
What are you talking the source of the more coming down.
We don't. That's what
No, we're good. Yeah. There we go. I think it's just when I get down there. I don't know. The Starlink is up there. I have it elevated. We should be getting clear signal to here. I think it's just a satellite issue. And Tom's Attack, how are you doing? Hello. Welcome back to Paleontologizing. I hope you're having a good day. We are pulling out all the stops to get everything done in the next few days. We're supposed to leave on Monday morning, first thing. So we've got Friday afternoon, Saturday, Sunday, in order to get all of these jackets out, and then get the site filled in before we have to leave. So again, this is a tremendous amount of work, and that's why this is going to be a short stream, because I'm going to have to help with a bunch of stuff. But yeah. And Starmy, the tail club will help us identify what kind of ankylosaur it is, if there is a tail club. There's we don't know that it's a tail club in there. We've got a big lump. It could be a tail club, could be a skull, could be more vertebrae, could be part of a pelvis. We don't know. There's a bunch of crud concreted onto it, and we don't want to remove that in the field because we'd risk damaging or destroying it. So we're just getting it back to the laboratory where it can be safely opened and cleaned. But yeah, this site here is the ankylosaur site. And there we go. This is potentially the kind of critter that we're looking at. So this is, I think, Denversaurus or Edmontonia, I forget. But it's a nodosaurid ankylosaur. This kind of tail club, as you can see. We don't know if ours is this kind or if it's an ankylosaurid. Because nodosaurid ankylosaurs do not have a tail club. No tail club on nodosaurs. Ankylosaurid ankylosaurs do have a tail club. We don't know what kind ours is yet. But the chances are very, very good, almost 100%, that this is a new species, or even a new genus. So that's why, one of the reasons why this is so important. So yeah, hopefully we have enough material that we can reconstruct the important parts and oh yeah, name this critter when we go to publish it. Yeah. But anyway, Starmy, yeah, it's much easier to tell ankylosaurs apart from one another. Their osteoderms have differences, their limb bones have differences, the armor on their necks are very different. It's usually easier to tell them apart than it is to tell apart hadrosaurs. So yeah. Yeah. Oh, and Lenina says, Ava would be proud I now own and regularly use polarized sunglasses. Nice. Yeah. And Jingle Jangle says, is there a specific side laying technique for paleontologists to avoid that you're... I don't know, you just practice. Yeah. And hey, Rakadactylus, how are you doing? Hello, hello, Reiko. I hope you're having a good day. And Kodali says, what truck size will the crew have to rent? I think about I think it's like a 20-foot U-Haul.
He's got a pirate shanty.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit when some more people come in here.
Something you have.
Yeah.
Like right here is kind of bare.
Anywho, let me go get some water before I forget.
My mustache.
Walk past our scree pile over here. So this is going to have to get shoveled back into those holes once we extract the jackets. So it's just yet another thing that we've got to do here. How many people do we have in the quarry right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 people. I think that's about what we're going to have for the next few days. So we've got a decent sized crew. Yeah. All right. Get some water here.
I don't even know. Harry Potter alternate universe impression, just sloth.
You go Harry Potter.
Nice. All right. And Stormy says, does the site have to close due to the permit running out, or how does that work? It's budget, mostly. We only have enough money to be able to work for and feed everybody for a month. And then also a lot of us have other things to go do during the summer as well. So we've got other obligations, people have jobs. Some of us have other field crews that we have to join. So we had 1 month allocated for this work, and we got to get it all done. There's no extensions, no nothing.
Well, you had really long hair and a giant bush.
And there you go, Ricodactylus. Yeah, scree. It is very much real. It is a tangible thing. And we're going to have to move a great deal of it. So, yeah. Yeah.
A great big bushy beard. A great big bushy beard.
So, yeah, that's a shame, but understandable. Well, that's the thing, Starmy. I mean, a month is a decent amount of time, and we've been able to do a tremendous amount during that month so far. But, man, this is... We'd prefer to have things a little bit easier, you know, than just this, all of this stuff. But yeah. Anywho. It is kind of nuts how much we've been able to do in just the past 4 weeks. Yeah. Also, I think 1 month is kind of a hard limit for a lot of people. Like, for me, it's going to be a full 32 days without a proper shower, without sleeping in an actual bed. 32 days of living out in the desert with, you know, kind of primitive conditions. It's a lot. It's definitely a lot. And Rosebitter says, I feel like a lot has happened in a few days. So I didn't, I'm not ripe, Diatom's attack. I smell like wet wipes and deodorant. I've been very clean considering no shower, you know. But it'll be nice to have a shower and sleep in a bed and all that stuff. Anywho, things might be a little bit different for some of our other crew members, but yeah. And Greasy, I am going to another dig, yeah. I'm going to be working in Utah from July 15th until about August 10th or so. And then after that, going back to the Bay Area for a bit, and then probably going back out to the field in September for some more work in Utah. So it's going to be about 2.5 months of field work this summer, or thereabouts. So a good deal, a good deal. And Crimson Gun Taurus is a month usual. There is no usual window. It's like every site, every different. I know there are field programs where the people might be out there for solid months, you know. There is no like typical, I would say, for a field season. Every program is different. Yeah. And Stormy says, are the digs you're working on always this productive? Almost. I'm pleased to say that I've never worked with any crews where, you know, the season was a dud. I've had maybe day trips where we haven't found much, but that's really it. Usually when I'm joining a crew, it means that we've got a lot of dinosaur material that needs excavating, and we go out and we do it. Yeah. And my tent setup is pretty nice. That's very true, Hayden. Yeah. By the way, I'm a Dragon 5'3". That's Hayden, who was out with us until just a couple days ago. I don't think we actually had a chance to get her on stream. I was always at different sites. But she's trained as an archaeologist, and so she was experiencing some slightly different work out here doing paleo. But Hayden, I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah. Anywho, let's a tyrannosaur without the signal cutting out. Let's see here. How you doing, Nick?
Yeah, doing well.
Hey, your shirt is so what? How did you get that done?
So I use a lot of bleach.
Oh, literally?
No, this is a different
okay.
shirt.
It's different shirt. Okay.
Different shirt.
Fair.
It's gonna be hot today, high UV. I was like, I need some long sleeves. And
Yeah.
Only one that I had. So.
Yeah. Shoot, Leo's got the opposite idea.
Opposite, yeah. You just,
I did too. Until stream started, then I had to put my shirt back on. But yeah, to each their own, you know.
exciting stuff. Just
Yeah.
sifting through some spoils.
Nice. Oh, you're looking for more fragments of the tyrannosaur too?
Yep.
Nice. Important work. Yeah, and here's our tyrannosaur tooth down here. So Ethan and James are looking for more pieces of it. But yeah. Oh, and we've got Ava in the chat too.
Oh, yo, what up, Ava?
Yeah, miss you, Ava. It's good to see you.
Wait, Ava's in the chat?
She is.
Hi, Ava. Come back.
First one to fight was independent.
I know. Yeah. Shoot. Yeah, Anna. There's our last representative of Femalia. I don't even know what I'm saying. I've been out in the desert too long. But yeah, it's good to see you, Ava.
Four big guys.
And then Ava says, miss you guys too. Utah is not as fun.
We all have eyes.
Oh, man. There we go. Is that the radio edit?
Yeah.
Look at the skies.
Nice. Yeah. A lot of in-jokes. Sorry, I can't explain that to you, chat. Anyway, family-friendly broadcast. Yeah. But, yeah, James, tell us about finding this tyrannosaur tooth. How did that work?
Yeah, so I was in this big circle here that we've got, and I was told to just start trenching in here so that we can like get underneath it and get ready to jacket it. And I was just going ham, and then we've hit a few bones before, so I was really nervous about getting anything. When I hit it, I noticed that there was something that came off of it, so I looked at, and things that I had found previously, I was told was something like fish or something like that. So I'm like, well, okay, but that chunk did not look like a fish at all. So I looked deeper, and I saw that sticking out, and I was like, oh crap, this is not a fish.
Right, yeah.
And so when I saw the serrations on there, I was like, that's got to be something else. So I called Ethan over, and he was like, yeah, that's a tyrannosaur tooth, man.
Nice.
Yeah, it was the coolest feeling.
I think let's just
Very cool.
So
It's exciting. I mean, we expect to have tyrannosaurs in this formation. There's no reason whatsoever to think there wouldn't be any.
yeah.
And we've just been wondering usually you find teeth before you find skeletal elements. And now we've got one. So, exciting. Shit, I gotta make sure that we're actually getting signal here. There we go. Everybody got really quiet for a minute. Let's see here. There we are.
Big man, road man.
There we go. Very intently on that. Important stuff. Nice. We'll check in a little bit.
It's gonna be long for you, bro.
Yeah. How you doing, Trinidad?
Doing good. Just
keeping spanning this hole. Haven't found.
Yeah.
Yeah, just not really anything.
It's important to have test pits and stuff like that, so we know if we've got bone going in different directions. So.
Yeah, and on top of that, I'm really motivated though.
Nice. Yeah.
It's like I was saying earlier. Like ever since Ava found that tooth, I was like, if there's going to be a tyrannosaur, it's probably going to end up being in here.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's exactly
this is the site to find it.
Yeah, we should put a strip there.
It's got me excited too, because what else is here?
But yeah, we're a good club. There you go, Rickedeculus. Yes, you are. Yeah. Anyway, and fossil goldfish. Yeah, this is some of our. I haven't even eaten my lunch yet because we had some snacks. This has been nice. Here, I'll get some more pretzels.
This mud. I hate this mud.
Yeah.
It's gives me PTSD whenever I.
Well, we've got like a bunch of organic bits in there, so it could get something, you know.
Yeah, but when I see mud like this, I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
Did I hit something?
Good to keep those eyes open. Pretzels and dust. Yes, indeed, Starmy. 2 of the 4 food groups out here in the field. Pretzels, dust, fruit snacks. Yeah.
More water, more plaster.
More. I need more powder.
I'm just got pretzels. My mouth is full.
My man's needs some water.
Right. Man's not hot.
Man's thirsty, fam.
Alright, so we're mixing up some plaster there. This is a sacred ritual in vertebrate paleontology.
Sacred.
Yeah. Mixing plaster, constructing a jacket. This is like where they put those poles through the Ark of the Covenant to get it. We're doing that, but with, fossil bones. I wonder if we seem noticeably more feral, as the stream goes on. I think so.
Dude, for sure. Desert madness is
I've got desert madness. I don't know where to stand.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what to do.
Putting in the wrong place.
No, you're fine.
No, I got you.
I'm not sure what to do.
More plastic.
Car ran fine. Everything went good.
But yeah, have you seen the video at NHMU back with Getty where they actually did have like the ropes?
No.
Yeah, they put ropes over and made hooks on each side, and then when they flipped it, they actually put posts through and carried it out like that.
Nice. Cool.
The Ark of the Covenant.
Even better.
Yeah. Everything went fine.
Do you know what that was? Was it a hadrosaur or something?
The thing I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was already jacketed when they were in the video. So. It's like that first video when you start going through NHMU's dinosaur section.
Oh, yeah.
Down by the prep lab.
Oh, I probably have seen that, yeah.
I was just like, wait, I have not seen that technique before. So.
Oh, and Ava in the chat says, tell Fisher he's doing a good job mixing the plastic.
Fisher, you're doing a horrible job.
Do better.
Ava does not approve!
Dog. You dog.
Mix faster, dog. Listen, brother, you need to mix faster. My daughter is waiting.
Oh boy.
Okay. Is that my mine right there?
Fisher's gonna do his dolphin dive. Check that out. Nice. Whoa. Beautiful.
The M&S would approve.
Look at that.
Is this mine?
Yep. That's gorgeous. So we're gonna be plastering this 2x4 to the top. That's gonna help secure this jacket. It's gonna help keep it from flexing. And it'll also give us a nice hard point if we need to like use a bottle jack or something like that, or
There's enough coverage, Luke, or we need to do
smoother.
Well, yes, that part.
There's no air pockets.
And Raziel Ball says, I love how the streams are getting progressively more unhinged as the dig goes on.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Accurate. What do you want?
Nice.
Are we going across 2 bays?
So Fisher and I just finished Turtle Hill yesterday. We came here around 2 p.m. and the site looked completely different from how it did just a few days ago.
We don't do that.
We don't do that.
You don't know about that.
Yeah. I don't know about that. I don't do that.
Eat boot. People.
Alright, yeah, let's get that 2x4 locked down a little bit.
We have any,
Go. Oh, God.
Nice.
No, they're in the garbage.
Fine.
And the squish. So, are you hearing the squishing right now? For some reason, this microphone it picks up this like squishing sounds of the plaster.
The squelch.
Yeah, the squelching. I don't know. I don't know if it's in the same like range as human voices or something.
We
but
lock that down
picks
for
it up
over here because there's
preferentially.
too much play on this end, and there's not really anything I can
We
do.
can put more in there. It's all good. It's all good, man. It's all good. It's all good.
Nice fish. Yeah.
Who wants some?
Do we want to go right here, or where we're
I
going?
think Ken's area needs a little bit more.
Right.
Like, what are we going?
See that dolphin dive again.
Not bad. It's crazy.
Nice.
It's a little wide for a dolphin dive, but that's okay.
Well, that dolphin was a little too wide, but that's okay.
It's supposed to be. Do we want this folded?
So this is what I was doing all day yesterday, which is why I didn't stream.
Alright, Ken?
Yo. Okay. Do we want to go right here?
There's a gap there.
Or do we want to go?
We should go somewhere where there's flat. I think the 2x4 is stable, so anywhere on the top that doesn't have the 2x4.
This looks like your dad trying to paint a house. Really? Nice.
There we go.
It's gonna be a wide one. You want to turn the bucket sideways, Fish.
Yeah, maybe. I might do this instead.
No backseat plastering.
Yeah.
Okay. Just let my man cook.
Nice. Look at that. Diatom's attack says finger painting a house is a cool idea. I mean, yeah, it's a small house. Or if you have really big fingers. Anyway, Diatom's attack, is this any similar to how you collect diatoms in the field?
Over there?
Yeah, we make big jackets for those guys.
Yeah.
We get a trillion diatoms in a jacket, and we take it to the lab, and we cut it open. And we just throw diatoms all over the place.
Have you collected diatoms in the field, Luke?
No.
What's the smallest fossils you've dug up?
Coccoliths.
Okay, nice. Yeah.
Zocoliths?
Yeah.
Zocophorans.
Yeah, it's forams.
Forams?
Do we want to
Heck yeah.
like a little folded up one right there? In this little.
This is a Luke. Oh, what?
This is the last.
And Diatom's attacks is I just spent diatoms in a lab the last 2 weeks. It's very dissimilar. Fair. Diatoms do tend to be smaller. Sometimes they're indistinguishable, but you know.
Diatoms, did she? That's like her.
I think she did. I want to say Joyce worked with Radiolarians or something like that. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was. I remember it being
Microfossils. Yeah. But yeah. So Trinidad here. I think I've said this before, but he's from Ohlone College.
Yeah.
Or Cal State East Bay.
Yeah, I go to grad school at Cal State East Bay, and then I do the curation stuff for Ohlone College.
Nice, yeah. So Trinidad is he's also involved with that whole project in Fremont at the Children's Natural History Museum, all that Irvingtonian stuff. So yeah, you might be seeing more of Trinidad in the future on these streams. We'll see.
Oh, that's a lot.
Down by the Ohlone Museum, there will be something on display from here.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah,
You're gonna
the-
put some of those plants on display?
Yeah, Ethan gave me permission to put them on display,
Nice. That'll be cool. Yeah. Awesome.
so people can come see some plants from here.
Yeah. If you want to see some fossil plants from the Almond Formation, you can go there in that's in Fremont, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in Fremont, California. Nice. And Claire Burr, it is your birthday today, isn't it? The 28th? Do I have that right?
Happy birthday, Claire!
Yeah. That's Ken wishing you happy birthday.
Go shouty.
Beast moderator.
Beast moderator.
I'm trying out over here.
Yeah, nice. Here. No, it's the 27th. I thought is it?
Sounds like
It is the 27th. Nice. Very cool. Yeah. And it's Golganek's birthday too. Holy moly. I forgot. We've got 2 esteemed moderators whose birthdays are both brilliant. Well, shoot, I appreciate you being part of your birthday here with us, Claire. That's awesome. Again, apologies for not streaming yesterday. I was too busy. This is going to be a short stream, I think, because
Dude, that's gonna be fun.
I've got a bunch of stuff to do. But yeah, wanted to pop in with at least a quick stream.
Be silky smooth.
Alright. That's good for now.
Oh yeah, and shoot, Golganek isn't a moderator. Well, she's an honorary moderator. I think of her as a mod. But yeah.
It's so raw.
But it's mostly Claire's. All right, Golganek. Fair. So humble. Yeah. Yeah. Anywho, if I seem a little loopy, it's because I've been out in and you know how it goes. Nick knows what's up. I hear another sacred ritual. The removal of the plaster from hairy hands.
So much fun.
Yeah.
Got to get it quick before it dries.
Yep.
Or it takes the hair with it.
Oh yeah, I had a bunch of that earlier. So like, a bunch of my hairs I had to cut them with a Swiss Army knife scissors. That was not fun.
By the end of the season, you just have bald patches all over your arms,
Exactly,
legs.
yeah. I got some of those. Now, nice job on this. This is feels secure.
If it moved, I would cry.
If I just pulled it off.
Rips it off.
Luckily.
Guys do better.
Yeah. No, this looks great. Well done. I like how you smoothed it over all the wood too, so it's just. We didn't do that on some of these, and it's not as pretty. This jacket in general is not as pretty.
It'll get there.
Yeah, we'll put some more coats on it, get nice and smooth. I was sanding it down with a rock earlier, trying to remove all the spiky bits, and man, there were a lot of them. Yeah, it was some Stone Age tools there.
A little bit off the side.
Yeah. Oh, can we see your shirt, Fisher? I'm sure chat would like that.
Yes.
Yeah. Heck yes. Normal, healthy adult turtles. I like it. That's a classic Fisher shirt.
Fan favorite.
Oh yeah.
That was a nice snapping turtle. Right?
Yeah.
I think I've seen you wear that like 4 years in a row.
Yeah, it's a typical classic field shirt.
Yeah. Let's get you another one of those when that one wears out. Yeah, that's even more desperately needed. That bandana used to be pink. Now it's
turned brown.
Yeah.
Survive a nuclear blast.
It's just colored with the blood that he shed.
It was white to start with. Yeah. Yeah.
This
Nice.
is not gonna be fun.
Yeah. And there you go, chaotic time travel. So you didn't have to deal with plaster. I don't know how many times I've done plaster rounds so far this season. Probably about a dozen at least. Probably more at this point. We did like, shoot, I want to say I did like 6 yesterday. We did like 10 at Purple Puzzle on that Saturday when we were closing out the site. Yeah, probably 2 dozen. Probably like more than 20 times I've done plaster rounds so far this season. And yeah, lots and lots of plastering. And Ava says, oops, I took his red bandana. Is that true, Ava? You took Fisher's red bandana? All he's got is the pink one now. All right, we doing another round on this one, or?
Done for now.
Done for now, nice.
That when they're done
All right.
trimming it down.
Plaster gang, plaster gang. Fisher, did Ava take your red bandana?
I believe she did. It's okay. You know.
Fisher's just got one. Gonna have to.
My day one pink bandana.
Yeah.
The Billy pink bandana. You feel impressed.
Yeah, you bet that thing, says Trek Nerd. Yeah, I'll see if I can get Fisher a new pink bandana. He's moving to California in the fall for grad school, so yeah, we're gonna get to hang out at some point. It's gonna be neat. Yeah. So sorry. I'll replace it in November. All right, fair. Now Fisher doesn't really mind. Yeah. But anywho, let's get some more water. It's important to hydrate. Got some 2x4s going over there. So, yeah. We'll be applying these to some of the jackets as structural support. It's gonna be good. And Jazzy Cat says, has the dig met or exceeded your expectations? Exceeded. When I first came here to the ankylosaur site, I didn't expect that we'd find much. Like, oh, it's gonna be a few osteoderms here or there. We might have, like, the majority of an ankylosaur in here, in these jackets. Plus the ones that we already have back in camp. Could be a big deal, you know? We might be able to name the critter just based on this material, which would be really neat. That's the hope. Yeah.
Hey Peter, where'd you put that other pair of scissors?
In the bin.
That bin?
Yeah. Ash says that bandana will be a collector's item, genuine Fisher memorabilia. Yeah, that'll be in a museum someday. Yeah. And you're moving in the fall for school as well, not to California though. Okay, well cool. Good luck with that. That's gonna be, I hope that's really good for you. Yeah, let's get some water. And hello to you, Nomad Soul. What's shaking? There's our satellite dish right there.
Oh yeah.
And let's get some water. How are we doing on battery? %. Oh man, satellite dish is using a lot of power. It's supposed to be about 20 watts. It's using like 30, 35. That's okay. That'll be fine. Made sure to charge it up to 100% before we started today's stream. And Racodactylus says, once these are back in a lab or museum or other facility, about how long does it take to analyze these specimens? We're talking years, right? So Reiko, in this case, these are the Cincinnati Museum of Natural History in Cincinnati, Ohio. And yeah, they're taking most of the fossils that we excavate this summer, if not all of them. And these are gonna stay in storage probably for multiple years. And then when they get around to them, when there's a preparator there, somebody who cleans fossils for a living, once they have some time, they'll open these jackets up, they'll chip away the rock, they'll help reinforce the bone using like polyvinyl acetate glue. Each one of these jackets might take a month or more. And yeah, so we're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, probably 13 or 14 big jackets from this site. So that alone might take a year's worth of prep time. And then after that, once everything is prepped, it has to be accessioned to the museum. It has to be studied, photographed, illustrated. Yeah, so it could take 5 or 10 years before this critter actually gets named. We'll see. We're really lucky that we have a museum on our side, and they've agreed to take these fossils and care for them, pour all of these resources into their cleaning and prep and study. So yeah, we're very grateful. In order to be able to get permits to work on federal land like this, we need to be able to demonstrate that these fossils are going to a federal repository. So like a museum with all the proper resources and facilities to be able to clean and care for these fossils in perpetuity. So yeah, big shout out to the Cincinnati Museum Center. And big ups! Big up Cincinnati!
I was really hoping at least
Yeah.
find a few
Anyhow, little bit of desert madness here. Oh, and there's Auntie Joyce in the chat. How you doing, Auntie Joyce? How are you? So far, I've survived. What is this? 28 days out in the field, going for the full, I think 31, 32. But yeah, we're almost done here. Well, we're not almost done. We almost run out of time, I should say, at the Ankylosaur site here. But we've got a ton of jackets to remove, and I've got to get back in there in a little bit so I can help trench around these jackets so we can get them flipped. But yeah. And thank you, Golganek, for the gift sub to Auntie Joyce there. Yeah. And Ash, is that as monumental as you projected, Ash? Well, I mean, it would be absolutely shocking if we did not have tyrannosaurs in the Almond Formation. Finding one here is absolutely no surprise at all. But finally having evidence of them is good and important. We'll go check in there for a second. And yes, the site will definitely be on the permit for next year, Jody Fish. We'll definitely be coming back here. We're trying any more bones. The Tyrannosaur tooth is a real surprise, and that's kind of slowed up. Yeah, might be a late night tonight like it was yesterday. We were here till I think about 9:30. If it's the same tonight. Because again, we've only got a couple days left. On Monday morning. So, yeah.
Exploring around it.
Yeah.
There's other bone around it. I just don't know if it's fish or what's going on.
Ethan's in the zone right now. We won't distract him too much. But, yeah. And Jazzy Cat says, could we see a flip yet today? Probably not. Probably because if there's a flip, I might be helping out with that. So we might stop the stream, but we'll see. Here we have some of our camp seamstresses, or yeah, doing some cutting, making garments.
I'm
for us.
cutting the burlap because I ran out of clean drawers out here in the desert.
Nice. Oh, this is from the Congo. Neat.
I didn't even notice that. That is pretty cool.
Shout out Ampersand Coffee.
yeah, in Denver, Colorado.
They're like Boulder?
Oh, Boulder? Okay, nice.
Yo, shout out Boulder. I used to live there.
Oh, cool. Did you like it?
I loved it.
Nice.
It's a nice place.
Seems like a cool place.
Yeah, it's really...
I think I've been there briefly.
It's a pleasant place.
Yeah.
I never went into the little museum they have there.
Oh, the CU Boulder Museum?
Yeah.
I haven't been there either.
I'm not an alumni, so...
very
you know,
small.
Yeah.
It's small, but it's nice.
Yeah?
My undergraduate advisor's spouse is the director of that, I believe.
Oh, nice. Cool.
Sweet.
But, yeah, anyway. If you're wondering why Luke and Fisher are cutting up burlap right now, this is what we use to make those plaster jackets. You take these burlap strips, you soak them in plaster of Paris, almost like an old-timey cast on a broken leg or something.
They also remove the crust from their sandwiches.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so Luke's
That is not true at all. I don't do that, okay? I eat all my crust.
can you... There's crust on this sandwich.
It's not triangle shaped.
Sorry.
That was funny.
Over here, what Luke is removing, and because those are no good for the jackets. They're too thick. They don't provide strength.
For them, that was a good call.
Making a little bow.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So Luke's now cutting this into strips that'll be appropriately sized to make these jackets. So yeah. You'll get to see part of this process in a little bit. And Reiko, do you cut your sandwiches into triangles, or are you wrong? I don't cut my sandwiches at all.
Yeah, I just eat the sandwich.
Exactly, yeah. For the past 28 days, it's been peanut butter sandwiches for lunch for me. Every single day. And I've been loving every day of it. It's usually what I eat in the field. I don't know. Jelly gets kind of soggy. I just go straight peanut butter. Get that protein, makes me drink more water because it's so dry. Yeah, good stuff. Sounds like a lie? It's not, no. What do you mean?
Why would we lie about that?
Nuh-uh.
I don't believe you. I don't think you're really eating that much peanut butter, Danny.
Prove it.
Yeah.
Do you want to go see my lunch right now? I can show you. I haven't eaten it yet. But, yeah. And Den's Pens 2K says, why? Just eat fresh bread and spoon peanut butter in after. What? We don't have fresh bread out here. What are you talking about?
Yeah, hold on. Let's go bake some right now.
Let's not go down to the windmill.
We've got some dough leavening right now.
I mean, look at us. We're filthy. We're covered in plaster. We're half crazed.
I'm fighting for my life out here.
I don't know. We're lucky to have bread at all. Shoot.
Yeah.
Stick peanut butter on a rock and lick it off at lunchtime.
We're stuck to this bread.
Yeah. Reiko says, do these look like men who know how to bake? I'm sure Luke probably does. You brought that Dutch oven out here, right?
Do have the Dutchie, yeah.
Yeah.
Luke is a wonderful cook.
Yeah. So says his roommate. Yeah, Ken would know.
Thanks, Ken.
Yeah. Big ups to Luke's cooking.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. No, Luke is kind of our unofficial / official camp dad. Always telling people which foods to eat and, you know,
Just thinking.
which ones are about to go bad. You know, just being conscientious about, like, life in camp. Like, do this, don't do that. You know?
Yep.
Yeah.
This is, we got to prioritize this thing.
Yeah, it's true. So, I've been calling him the Minister of Foods in camp, and he's been very good at that, so. It's been good having you here, Luke. Like, last year you weren't here for part of the season.
I know.
And other people tried to pick up the slack, including me, and it just wasn't the same.
Well, thank you, Danny. I appreciate.
No, it's been.
I appreciate you both saying that.
Been noticeably better this year, for sure.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
It's fun being out here. I'm glad I got to come out for the whole month.
Yeah.
A trip out here without Luke just doesn't sound right. It just like
I know, right?
It's like Quinn, Quinn being gone. It just doesn't feel right.
Yep.
Feel right.
Yep.
Miss you, Quaylon.
Yeah, is Quinn here in the chat? Probably not. He's probably doing more important things. But yeah. Oh, and look who it is. Paleo Jim says, "Oh Luke, oh Luke."
When I might be occupado by then. You gotta get me early. Schedule fills up fast.
Oh, Danny.
Yeah.
I heard you mention Joyce. Was that Dr. Blue in the chat, or was that a different Joyce?
No, I was just saying. Well, that was my aunt Joyce,
Okay.
Auntie Joyce.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't
But
hear
yeah.
the ant part, so I was like,
Yeah, yeah. No, I don't know if she's ever actually said anything in chat, but she's watched before a few times. But yeah. Anyway, Jim, I hope you're doing well. It's good to see you. Hope your arm and your ribs are feeling better. Hope you're.
Yeah, hope you're healing up.
Yeah, shoot. It'd be great to have you at a Dolings Bowl, Jim, even for a day or so if you can make it. I'll miss you if you're not, but at least we'll have the streams, you know. But yeah. And Twitch Josh 9000 says, "Yo, shout out Fisher, the greatest Swedish paleontologist living." Fisher, how much for these crusts right here?
Discarded burlap. 66 krona.
Whoa.
It's a lot more than I was expecting.
That's more than a lot of things.
But good stuff. And Jim says working on a Jurassic Anki monograph. Well.
Ooh,
that's exciting.
Nice.
Very nice. Pretty neat. Yeah. Oh, Jim, finally we're here at the Ankylosaur site. I know it's been a while, but check this out, Jim. Holy cow.
You can't see it.
Yeah, we've got. Well.
There's bones in there.
Yeah, there's bones in there. Yeah. But check. Some of these have Ankylosaur bits, and some of them don't. Like some of those up there are just big freshwater fishes.
And crocs.
And crocs. Nice. Yeah. Ethan's working on a tyrannosaur tooth down there. Just popped up right before we started stream. That's exciting. And then we've got some bones in here, but they're really not much to look at the moment. Everything's just concreted on with all this ironstone crud.
Bunch of verts and ribs.
Verts and ribs in here?
8 to 10. Are you in the trench?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Bunch of
Oh, I'm not standing on the block, no. Heavens no. But yeah. So anyway, we should have, hopefully, a lot of beautiful bone once this concreted crud gets prepped off of here.
I think we probably, based on just the stuff we've gotten out and the stuff in these pedestals, we probably have at least 30-40% of the skeleton.
Shoot.
Maybe more.
That's awesome.
Yeah. There's a lot going into the road still.
And still no real indication whether it's an ankylosaurid or a nodosaurid, right?
I just don't know the group well enough, unfortunately.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Jim,
And
Jim thinks it's ankylosaurid, I think, right?
Ankylosaurid? I thought we were saying nodosaurid based on the femur.
I think Jim was saying panoplosaur-like critter, right?
Yeah.
That's an ankylosaurid.
It's a nodosaurid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
My bad.
Yeah.
I just don't know this group as well as I should, given that Jim is my
No, it's all good. And again, it's early to say too. Like, you start making claims like this, and you know, it'll be wrong just for the heck of it. But yeah. Anyway, good stuff. So under here, some more jackets. You know, we've got a lot of material here, and again, we've got to get this all out in the next few days. We're really running out of time. I was working under here earlier, trenching this out, and then digging this trench over here so we can get this jacket flipped. So working there, and I was able to do a ton of work under here, really cutting this down right there. So it takes a lot of work to construct and then flip these jackets. That's why we're probably gonna have a short stream today. Yeah. And Jim says the osteoderms are diagnostic to family. Yeah, they should be, but most of them are so like encrusted with crud that we really can't, without like really field prepping these things and risking destroying them, we really can't say what the morphology of the osteoderms is. We can barely say that they're osteoderms at all. Most of the bones that we have in here are just not identifiable in their current state. This hasn't been the easiest site to work, but yeah. And Salamander says, so these babies will be able to manually flip? That's the hope. I mean, look, this thing is huge, this jacket right here, but we've got 15 of us. We should be able to do it. There. This should be doable. It's just gonna be tough. It's gonna take a lot of muscle to do that. Yeah. And Alexander Morrison, we don't have a croc skull from here, but we do have a few osteoderms, I think. Could be other bones, but so far just croc osteoderms, we think, from this site. Yeah. And there you go, Hayden. Yeah, lots of fragments at this site. It's yeah, and we keep finding bone fragments and stuff in the trenches. It's one of the things that's been slowing us down. But Otter Do It, good to see you. Hello, hello. Yeah. Oh, nice. Nick went and got some ice earlier. And this is your cooler, right?
This is Ethan.
Oh, it's Ethan's. Okay. It's with cold water, which
It's a nice treat.
yeah, for sure.
Helps with morale, for sure.
Yeah, nice. All right, how long have we been streaming here? An hour, 6 minutes. I could do a little longer for sure. So let's do that. Maybe we'll see another round of jacketing. Oh, right here, Peter is going to be mapping this specimen. So one of the things that we do here,
As long as it's
is recording proper data at each of these different sites. And at this site, that includes mapping. So you might notice these on the ground right here. These are nailed in place. Those are our grid system. They're placed 1 meter apart. It's just over 3 feet. And then that's a 1 meter grid square right there. So Peter is going to be mapping these elements onto the paper map there. Again, this is one of the differences between a proper scientific dig where we're collecting all the data that we can, and, you know, just straight up treasure hunting like a lot of commercial groups do. So we're trying to gather as much information as possible for, you know, being able to figure out what kind of environment this was like 73 million years ago. What was the depositional setting? All of that good stuff. So the importance of a map in this situation is to be able to say where each of these individual elements came from, because once these jackets get taken back to the lab, they're out of context all of a sudden, you know? They've been taken out of the ground, their orientation in the ground, like, you can lose that information. And that could be important for trying to figure out whether or not this animal was transported a long distance before it was buried. Yeah, without that information, it's really difficult to say. So, especially with a multi-year project like this, because we will be coming here, if they're able next year, which could happen, potentially, who knows, if we're missing important pieces that we really, really want to find, a map like this can help tell us where to dig. Because if we can figure out the direction of flow in like a fluvial system, like an ancient river, then we can say, well, these smaller bones should be downstream, presumably. So we'll know in which direction to dig test pits and try and find those other elements. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Yeah. And oh, and we've got a question from Arthur Gone too. Was there an era of dinosaurs also whales? No, so whales evolved after the extinction of the dinosaurs, except for birds. So whales show up about, I don't know, 10 or 15 million years after the extinction of the non-bird dinosaurs. But there were big reptiles that lived in the oceans during the time of the dinosaurs. You had things like mosasaurs, big short-necked plesiosaurs, and long-necked plesiosaurs too. Ichthyosaurs, some of those guys grew to be as big as whales. Maybe not as big as the very biggest whales, but that could also change with future fossil discoveries. So there were great big marine reptiles during the Mesozoic era, during the age of dinosaurs, but they weren't whales. Whales are mammals. They're a particular group of hoofed mammal, actually. Whales are hoofed mammals. They're artiodactyls, which is pretty cool to think about. But we know this from fossil evidence and now from DNA evidence, too. That whales evolved from hoofed, land-living ancestors. Yeah. But, anywho. They're ungulates, indeed, Geosrudin, yeah. Yeah. And Fake Do It says, surely you're making drone recordings of these sites. Offers arguably better data on context than a map alone. No, the map is a million times better than drone footage, because the map actually records data about what elements are in the jackets and everything. When we just have jackets like this, anything could be inside them. But you need specific information on the map, being like, okay, this is where we found this vertebra and that vertebra and all of that stuff. You wouldn't get that with just like photographs or drone footage or something. So that's one of the reasons why a paper map is a million times more important. It's nice to have drone footage and stuff, and we do have that from a few of our sites, but that's more of a, you know, it's fun to have sort of thing. It doesn't really offer you real data in the way that the paper map does. I know that this is one of these things that I always try and emphasize to a Twitch audience, because people on Twitch, they really like computers, they really like technology, but, you know, nothing beats careful human observation and good note-taking and that kind of thing, you know? Yeah. And R.I.P. Tren, we miss your drone. Yeah, there you go, Hayden, yeah. It was cool to have. But yeah. And Deb says, wouldn't drones draw attention from locals too? Yeah, that is potentially a concern, but here we already have attention from locals. You know, we're right near civilization. That's one of the reasons why this site is such a priority. We need to get it done ASAP, because there's always a risk of vandalism here. Our other sites are much more remote than this, but this one is, you know, it's pretty close to a human settlement.
Too close, kid.
Yeah. And but yeah, and there you go, Zool. Nice. Most recent National Geographic. Oh, is there paleo stuff in the most recent Nat Geo? Cool, cool, cool. Yeah. And Starmy says, do you find coal layers in other sites other than Turtle Hill? Yeah. We had shoot, Luke. We had some coal at the Purple Puzzle site, right? A little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit. Yeah, that's pretty common to find like small layers of coal, charcoal, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it was in with all the wood.
Jackson showed me a piece of coal of fossilized coal he found here.
Here?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty common to get that at a lot of sites in the late Cretaceous. Yeah, this was kind of a swampy environment, and so finding coal is pretty common. Yeah, it's not going to be the same layer of coal at Turtle Hill. They're just too common where you can't really use coal layers to correlate unless they're really thick or distinctive. Yeah. And let's see.
I think some herbivores have been found with fossilized charcoal in their stomach, right?
I'm not totally sure. I'm trying to think of an example. I want to say that we do have that in Borealipelta, that nodosaur from Alberta. Yeah. Yeah, so whether that animal regularly ingested coal, just as whether it did that before it died because, it was having difficulty finding enough to eat, is difficult to see, can be tricky, to say the least. And Twitch Josh says, I probably should have asked this when I was working there. We miss you. We got Josh in the chat here.
Yo,
Hi, Josh.
what up, Josh?
Yeah.
We missed the hacky sack.
But Josh wants to know, what was it? Let me find it. Are the depths of each fossils recorded for mapping and which beds they are found in? I think so, yeah. I presume so. Hey, Peter.
What?
You've been recording like depth information on the maps, right?
On the specimen information, yeah.
Nice, yeah.
We kind of get relative depth. We've got a few beds going on here that we're kind of organizing into.
Nice.
It was like dinosaur bed up. The concretion stuff with fish and some more dinosaur beneath, and then the lower layer, which we've got a lot of stuff coming out of, and croc stuff, which is kind of the first stuff we found.
Cool.
So
cool.
that's where the tyrannosaur tooth is in the lower.
Exactly, yeah. I was trying to explain to the chat like why having a paper map like that is really important as opposed to just photographs or like drone footage or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Helps you figure out like what part, relative positions, assuming that things are kind of found in relation to where they were in life.
Right. Yeah.
Kind of can help you map out what part of the animal they're from, or maybe what kind of depositional environment. So it's like a stream direction, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Awesome.
So
that's basically what I said too. Yeah. Yeah.
And then the vertical relative position helps us determine if like maybe these remains were from one event or multiple events, different times. Maybe different years. Like maybe there's 30 or 300 years between these events, these fossils. So yeah, mapping is super important. And vertical mapping is too. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Peter.
Yep.
Yeah. That mapping is one of my least favorite things about like working at a site. So thanks for doing that.
It's one of my favorite things.
It's one of your favorite. I'm glad you're well suited for it. Yeah. Nice.
I love that.
And let's see. We had a question from Space Gnome. With dinosaurs, what developed first, beaks and wings together? Not sure I understand the question. We've got a bunch of different dinosaur groups that all kind of independently developed beaks. You've got the ornithischian dinosaurs on one side of the family tree. They all have beaks. They all have a predentary bone, which is like the beak bone in the lower jaw. It's one of the things that distinguishes ornithischian dinosaurs. And then on the other side of the dinosaur family tree, on the Saurischeans, you get a bunch of different theropods that seem to have independently developed beaks. You get it in things like oviraptorosaurs, ornithomimosaurs, therizinosaurs, and then you get it in birds too. And even birds as early as Archaeopteryx, we now think actually had a like Rhamphotheca structure, an actual like beak in addition to their teeth. And some of the early groups of birds, apart from Archaeopteryx, things like Enantiornithines. Actually, no, is it not Enantiornithines? I forget. But you've got Hesperornithid birds that had beaks and teeth. So, yeah, it's kind of a complex story, the evolution of beaks and teeth in dinosaurs. Yeah. But yeah. Yeah. And Starmy says, how would you be able to say the amount of years between events? So at a site like this, that'd be really difficult. You would actually have to figure out the depositional rate, and we can only really guess at that. Like, when we're looking at these different layers of rock in here, say right over here, you get distinctive layers, like these. They look kind of stripy like that. And so whether that represents 1 day's worth of mud or sand being deposited, or a year, or a century, or a millennium, it's difficult to say. Yeah, you do get things like others, which are really distinct, like beds that, in some cases, they might represent like a single day. We don't get that kind of thing. But it is interesting to look at some of these and yeah, you can actually see some of these beds plunging. So like we get this dark layer right here, you see that going across there? And then you go over here and it continues and it dips down like this. So we do know that our bone bed is kind of following that, where it starts up high over here, it's sloping down toward the road there. And so we expect there'll probably be more bones underneath the road. And next year, we might dig that road up. We'll see. I think we do have permission to do that from the Bureau of Land Management, so yeah, that'll be fun. Do some road, not road construction, road destruction for science. And the coal that we're talking about was likely not there when the dinosaurs were alive, says Claire Burr. I mean, it would have been compressed plant material at the time. And then as it lithifies, as it turns to rock, it basically, it turns to coal. So in the same way that the bones were, just normal fresh bone, and then they fossilize, they turn to fossil bone. It's an analogous process for forming coal out of compressed plant material. If that makes sense. Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah, anywho. Here, let me know, Ethan, when I can get you for a second to make a plea about funding for the U-Haul. Yeah, when you got a good stopping point. Ken's reapplying some sunscreen here. It's important. Yeah, high UV today. Anyway, sorry, I'm bugging you.
Yeah, you're fine, man.
Just trying to show everybody, these are the things that we do during the day. Not everything is as exciting as finding tyrannosaur teeth. We're reapplying sunscreen, we're drinking water, we're doing this, doing that. It's all part of life in the field. Oh, and right here, this is an important early part of the jacketing process. Applying a layer of separator to a big block containing a bunch of fossil bones. So that's wet paper towel that's being put onto the surface. And then the paintbrushes are for tamping it down onto the surface, making sure that it sticks in all the nooks and crannies. And then after this layer of separator, we'll put on plaster-dipped strips of burlap, and those will form the actual exterior of the jacket. This is the interior part. We're just making sure that the plaster doesn't stick to the bone or the rock, doesn't mess it up. Does that make sense? Yeah. And Joshua Colossus, I'm not sure what you mean. Is the jacket dissolved or just cracked? I'm not sure what you're asking. Yeah. And Stormy, that black layer would have been coal there, I think, yeah. Or at least like charcoal or something like it. Yeah. Yeah. And Zool says, do you ever come across any signs of cohabiting or mingling among various species? We don't... yeah, like actually finding evidence of interactions between extinct animals is difficult, but we do have a few famous examples. The one that immediately leaps to mind is the Velociraptor and Protoceratops that were preserved together, seemingly act in mortal combat. They died while fighting. It's been a lot of speculation as to how that may have occurred. It's probably a burrow collapse. But yeah, and then we've got, actually speaking of burrows, I think in the Permian.
See you later.
Oh, you're taking off, Leo?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for your help, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Drive safe.
Thank you. It was great to come out here.
Yeah, going back to Utah?
Yeah, back to Utah.
Nice.
So.
All right. Enjoy civilization and having a shower and
back to work,
proper bed and all that, and going back to work.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah.
This is like a vacation for you, huh?
Oh, this is great. This is
awesome.
Coming next year for sure.
Yeah, awesome. Cool.
Hopefully
yeah.
longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Safe travels.
See you, Danny.
Cool. And then there were 14. Yeah. And it's gonna get tougher and tougher to move these jackets. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, interactions between different critters. We do have a fossil burrow from the Permian. Fisher would know about this, actually. Let's ask Fisher what that is. Yeah. Oh, we're doing that dolphin dive. Hey Fisher, what was that that burrow with the Permian critters? The different species that were preserved together?
Oh, that was the early Triassic. That was Thernaxodon, which is a cynodont, and Brumastega, which is a spondyle amphibian.
Okay, cool. So this is like a mammal ancestor and a amphibian guy in the same burrow together.
Just cuddling up.
Yeah, and they died there together, which is how we know that that happened.
Interspecies love.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet, actually.
That is.
Yeah.
All about it. Like,
I mean, you get the same sort of thing today in like gopher tortoise burrows, where like gopher tortoises are prolific burrowers. They're really good at digging, and a bunch of different critters kind of rely on the infrastructure that they create by digging. So in a gopher tortoise burrow, you might have a gopher tortoise, you might have a rattlesnake, you might have various species of toads and frogs and all kinds of invertebrates, all just living in that burrow side by side. Yeah, you could say they were roommates. Oh my God, they were roommates. Yeah, there's a lot of critters that do that today, so it's cool to see that in the fossil record as well. And then other interactions that we have are things like tooth marks on bones. Sometimes when you get an animal that was chewed on and there's, marks from teeth on the bones, sometimes you can figure out what animal made those tooth marks, which is really neat. We do have a tyrannosaur tooth at this site, which, could potentially suggest that this animal was chewed on by a tyrannosaur. But we don't know yet. All we have is this one spent tooth. We'll actually need to look for bite marks on the bones later, after these things have been brought back to the laboratory and cleaned. So that might be years from now. But
okay, cool.
And RB42 says, if a dinosaur had snood, would it be able to fossilize? On rare occasions, yes. The example that jumps to mind for me for that is Edmontosaurus regalis, which is a big duck-billed dinosaur. It was always assumed to have had a flat head, but then there was a specimen found with like a weird soft tissue thing on top that had fossilized, and it almost looks like a rooster comb or something. So yeah, on rare occasions with really good preservation, you can get soft tissue that shows up there, and it's often really surprising. So yeah, pretty neat. And Murph says Tyrannosaur tooth. Yes, indeed. We do have a Tyrannosaur tooth. Just popped out a little while ago. James found it here.
Yeah, come check it out.
Yeah, all right. Let's take a look.
So we got
It turns out I bought that large Edmontosaurus
right in here.
Nice. There it is right there. Yeah, so it doesn't look like much at the moment, but you can see kind of a sheen to it. My laser point. Can you point it? A little cigarette there. How'd that get in there?
That's how this tyrannosaur died. Smoking kill.
But there we go. Nice.
Pretty awesome find.
Yeah. The tip right there, but we have part of that in the truck, and then...
We have basically all of it.
Oh, nice.
The tip is actually sharp still, and it fits right on.
Fantastic.
There's only a tiny fragment on the side that chipped off, which is the discovery mark. But
okay, nice.
Given that it was found in a trench, it ain't so bad.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Nice. So yeah, we got a tyrannosaur tooth here. Let me step here and here. But yeah. Do the Sarah McLachlan music and ask for support for some poor paleontologists. Yeah.
So as you can see, we have 10 blocks in varying stages of being plastered. So we couldn't get these to be smaller. Like, we fought tooth and nail to make these blocks not gigantic, but everywhere we go, we find bone. And we have to make them really thick too, because there's bone all the way through, even below the ankylosaur layer. There's a bunch of cool fish and crocodiles and apparently tyrannosaur teeth. So we had to spend, I bought 10 bags of plaster the other day with help from chat.
Yeah.
And
thank you again for that, everybody. Holy cow, that was excellent.
My fiance is coming up from Salt Lake with another 10 bags that I had to pay her to get because this is just taking so much. Yeah. So that was like that's a massive expense that we did not expect to need, but we're grateful that we had to spend it. So
yeah.
But that did eat into our U-Haul budget, which is just a few $100. The U-Haul should cost about $400, and that's not to get the fossils out of here, it's to get all of our gear out of here.
Yeah, so we can use it in next year. Yeah.
Exactly. We're going to be storing all these fossils at a secure location in a town nearby until we drive them out east. But we do need a U-Haul on Monday to get us and all of our gear home. So any help we could get with that would be super awesome. Just a few $100, and even if we only get half of that, it's still a big help. So if you can send it to my Ko-Fi, then I'll just go ahead and Venmo it to Ethan, like we did the other day for the plaster. Again, if you want to contribute to that, we'd really, really appreciate it. It's one of those expenses that is unavoidable. We got to bring our gear back so we can use it again next year. That's picks and shovels and all our camp gear and stove and everything else. And so as you can see, all that plaster money really paid off.
I mean, look at these jackets. It's nuts.
There's so many giant ones.
Yeah. So we're definitely bringing some prizes into the storage facility, but that comes at a cost. So if you could help us out with that, we'd be really, really appreciative.
Thanks, Al. That'd be great.
Even just a few bucks here and there helps.
Even if we don't get it all, it's still helpful.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. Cool. Thanks, Ethan.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah.
There's a mystery bone next to the tooth.
Yeah, I saw that. What do you think that is? Any idea?
I can't figure out if it's just fish stuff or if it's something from the tyrannosaur.
Yeah.
It's in a pretty unfortunate location, but I hope to figure that out, because if we can figure out what it is, we can treat it with the appropriate amount of attention instead of an infinite amount of attention.
And yeah, I
hope it's not a tyrannosaur.
It's about 400 for the U-Haul. That's what it was. 400. Yeah.
It's amazing how expensive it is to rent a truck for one day.
Yeah.
It's craziness. But that would the
also
alternative is making
gas
like
too,
4
right?
trips.
Yeah. Yeah, so it is less expensive than going back and forth pickup. Yeah. Anywho, yeah. And thank you, Lenina. I appreciate you pinning that message there. Excellent. Here, let's see, because there's some folks who are contributing right now. Let's get that pulled up. Ko-Fi, excellent. All right, just from today, Jody Fish, Victorious, both of you, thank you for the contributions. I really appreciate that. Holy moly. That is excellent. And thank you, Rosebitter. Phenomenal. Really appreciate that. Again, I get in the Ko-Fi, I'll immediately Venmo to Ethan as soon as the stream is over. So we'll get that done. I can eat that cost for a little bit. It'll take a little while for the money to show up in my bank account, but it'll be fine. We need this ASAP. And Art by Benny says, is this all government funded or private? This is all privately funded. In fact, some of our funding came direct from Twitch chat. We ran a big fundraiser in 2023 and raised about $8,000. So yeah, that supported most of our field work in 2023. That was my first year working out here. And then last year, we had a great big Amazon wish list with like thousands of dollars worth of gear that people purchased for us, and we're still using that equipment right now. These shovels, these water containers, these scoops and buckets, our digging equipment, the picks and the scratch awls and the brushes and stuff like that.
It's the most expensive trip in human history.
Yeah, and we're also getting the most dinosaurs out of any camp. Yeah, and then a lot of gear as well for this. But yeah, shoot, like that. See that sweet looking Tacoma over there? That's Nick's. And he is provided. He actually donated it to us. He gave us the title and everything. So.
Aren't I kind guy? We are now NPR.
No, that's Nick's truck. That thing is cool. But anyway, yeah. So all of our funding here is private. We don't get any grants. We don't get any government funding. We do have a really good relationship with the Bureau of Land Management, and we're really grateful for that. But they don't provide us with funding. It's just permits and, you know, moral support and stuff like that. So hope that makes sense. But yeah. But check out all of these donations. Holy cow. So Rose Bitter was our last one, and then Mythic Mexican. Holy cow. Thank you so much for your contribution. That is very, very generous. Really appreciate it. Holy moly. Mythic Mexican. Kodali, Mommy Does, Jacob Bax. Thank you. Holy cow. We're more than halfway to our goal. That's phenomenal. Thank you very, very much. Again, every dollar counts for this. And here, let me tally that up right now, and then I'll send it to Ethan. Let's see. 35, 55, 255, 260, 275. Let me do this right now. That's 275 so far out of 400.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
So fast.
I know, right?
Thank you.
Holy moly. I'll send that to you right now, Ethan, and then we'll see what else people contribute.
Fantastic.
There we go. 275. U-Haul round one. There we go, right there. And pay. Beautiful. Phenomenal. Excellent. That's really good. Brilliant. Yeah. And let's see if we've gotten any more since then. Oh, holy cow. So 275 plus 50 is 325. 355. 365. Holy moly. We're $55 away from the goal. Brilliant. Really appreciate that. Holy cow, that is phenomenal.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah,
Thank
seriously.
you. Thank you.
At a time when like science in the U.S. is critically underfunded, it's really good to know that there are good people who care about science and are willing to, you know, throw some money toward get some dinosaurs out of the ground, and
now we can get home.
Yeah, we can get home, exactly.
Imagine how paleontologists like Barnum Brown would react to seeing this. Like,
Yeah.
We just like raised, like.
He always was looking for money too. Yeah, like going through his biography. Yeah, that's like a big part of his life in the field. Is like, oh shoot, running out of money here. Like, you know, sending telegraphs to the museum, like begging for more funds, and them telling him sometimes like, nope, sorry, you're on your own. We don't have that in the budget. Like, we're really lucky by comparison.
Yeah.
To have all of you wonderful, generous, supportive viewers. It means a lot.
Brown would be like, he'd be hecka jealous to be like, oh, you guys just raised that money right there on the spot.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Nuts. That's
Help me raise money for a wagon.
exactly, yeah.
A mule.
Yeah. And
He gets a letter from one of his fans.
yeah. And we get another one from Golganek. Golganek, thank you. My goodness. Here, let's check that. Brilliant. 40, 50. That's phenomenal. Thank you so much for the support. Holy cow. Really, really appreciate it. That's excellent. Yeah. From the chat, Arthur Gahn says, this guy lies on the ground and brushes with his arm inside this tent, or is it a blanket? That's a tarp right there that's over one of our big lumps of rock with bones in it.
I'm the blanket arm brushing guy.
Yeah. No, a big part of field paleontology is just being okay with sitting on the ground for much of the day.
You don't know about that. You don't know about
using small hand tools. That's if we're not like swinging picks and shovels and stuff like that. A lot of the work is much slower paced like this, like Ethan is doing. Again, he's looking for...
Got a new bone here.
Another new bone, nice.
I'm not really sure what it is, but...
Good. So Ethan's working really slow through here because there's a chance this is more of the tyrannosaur.
Something funky,
which would be huge, yeah.
Scoop. Yeah, there's a bone here, there's a bone thing here, and this weird lumpy thing is bone, so
weird.
I don't know if this is just some fish stuff or if this is like a jaw with teeth in it. I'm not really sure yet.
Uh-huh. Nice.
But I will know eventually.
Shoot.
Oh, I glued that, my bad.
No, I'll take it.
I didn't want it to move.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for raising that so quick. That was amazing.
Yeah,
guys.
holy cow. Yeah.
You guys rule.
Incredible. Appreciate it. Yeah, chatters, you're making me look good. I appreciate that. Yeah. So again, I feel a little bit bad for not digging right now, but you know, if we're raising money for, you know, the truck to get everything out of here, that's arguably more important. Yeah. Thank you for explaining. You bet there, Arthur. Yeah, that's what it's all about here. Doing science outreach, answering questions.
Ontogeny.
Yeah. Arthur DeWitt says, Danny, you'll be getting a deluge of invites to other fieldwork after this. We'll see. I'm already booked up for the summer. Shoot. I've got like another month, maybe month and a half worth of fieldwork after this. So I think that might be it for this year. Pimpcat says, nice cool hand Luke sunglasses. Yeah, they're just yeah. What we have here is a failure to communicate. Is that how it goes? I don't know why I did that in a John Wayne voice. Yeah. And you have Doling's Bowl and maybe another St. George stint. Oh, I forgot about St. George. No, I've got Doling's Bowl and then maybe Laurie's site. If I link up with Josh Lively, might be doing some more work in Utah, near Moab, and then maybe St. George as well. We'll see. Yeah. And True Love says, do you do a lot of computer work at home, like logging all the stuff you found? I don't have to do that for this site. Ethan's going to be doing a lot of that. And then there's other folks at the Cincinnati Museum who will be doing some of that as well. Yeah, luckily that's not something that's one of my duties, so I don't have to worry about that for the most part. But I do a lot of work on the computer at home, not just streaming, obviously. I do that 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, back from my office, going over new scientific papers, interviewing other paleontologists, doing a lot of Q&A with chat. Yeah, going over fossil news, all that good stuff. Special events like World Tapir Day and International Sawfish Day. Yeah, old Chucky D's birthday, Darwin Day, stuff like that. But yeah. And then, yeah, a lot of digital sculpting, digital art. There's some papers I really need to write when I get home for publication, that kind of thing. Yeah, so I do spend a lot of time on the computer. This is like a really nice refresher being out here in the field for a couple months at a time. You know, just not having to worry about computer stuff for the most part. You know, I do have a digital encoder right here, and satellite internet. So I guess you know, everything's computer. There is some computer stuff, but for the most part, it's dirt and dust and rocks and fossils. Yeah. I can't wait to read the papers. Yeah, Geosprudent. It's going to be good. I've got one on Spinosaurids that I need to get submitted for publication soon. I know I keep saying that. It's going to happen. And then I've got, I really want to work on a dinosaur from California that not a lot of people are aware of. So I'll be working with Karen Poole on that. Yeah. And World Croc Day. Yeah, it's during the summer. It's on my radar, Alexander Morrison, but there's a bunch of like cool anniversaries and
Ontogeny.
that are in June and July and early August, and we usually end up. It's nice to spiky. Yeah. Every part of this is like unpleasant, except for the smell. See, it smells really nice. Burns nicely too, but it burns real fast. Yeah, let's go get some water. And yeah. And oh, there you go, that one guy. Yeah, so my paper does kind of deal with how aquatic Spinosaurids were to a certain extent. So yeah, that'll be good. Excited to finally get that thing out there. I've only been working on it for more than a decade. Sometimes these things take a long time, you know? Yeah. And let's see. And the goal, how are we doing? Let's take a look, Golganek. We're at 50. Oh, holy moly. We've exceeded the goal. This is phenomenal. Which means that we'll have a little bit of money that we can contribute toward the U-Haul that'll bring the fossils to the museum in Cincinnati as well. So yeah, I'll go tell Ethan about that in a second. But yeah, that is superb. Thank you so much, everybody. Holy cow. You guys are fantastic. Really appreciate you. Holy moly. Here, I'll send the rest to Ethan in a second. All right. So let's see here. Venmar. Ethan Dino. So that was what, 275 before. And then that was, so that'll be 125. 155. U-Haul. Round 2. Pay. Excellent. Superb. Yes. Let me make sure I have enough money in my bank account real quick so I'm not bleeding myself dry. Log in. Oh boy, why is it not doing auto login again? Sign in. There we go. Okay, beautiful. Yeah, we're doing well. Phenomenal. Yeah. Good stuff. Beautiful. All right, thank you, everybody. Rich Uncle Chathew. Yeah, there you go, Charlie's Dragon. I feel like Othniel Charles Marsh. like Uncle Peabody stepping in and being like, yeah, I'll buy you a museum. Thank you, everybody, for your contributions. That is superb. Brilliant. And Munich says, thank you for all your work. It's super nice to discover that there are still things in nature. Absolutely. There's so much out there yet to be discovered. And not just in terms of fossils, but in terms of, you know, modern organisms too. I don't know. One thing that I've been kind of obsessed with lately, outside of the realm of fossils, is leatherback turtles. It's kind of a new thing that, I don't know, I've always found them fascinating, but I got to go on a really cool trip to Puerto Rico last month and got to see leatherback turtle nests, and it was mind-blowing. And like, since then I've been reading everything that I can on these animals, and it's incredible how much is still not known about them. Like, what do they do in between when they leave the nest as hatchlings and then when the females come back to nest? Where do they go? What do they eat? What's their, you know, they call it the lost ears. There are lots of critters still around today that are still very mysterious. There's always new things to be discovered. That's the point that I'm trying to make, is that science is making cool new discoveries. And there are so many discoveries being to be made. You could go out there and do that if you get involved in science. That's what we're doing here. And I feel tremendously lucky to be able to bring this to all of you through the magic of Twitch and satellite internet. And it's only because of the support of this community that that's possible. So thank you for that. Yeah. And thank you for the bits there, Uncle Dude. And Task Pumpkin, thank you for the subscription. Appreciate that. We barely scratched the surfaces, Trek Nerd. Yes, it is true. Must have U-Haul, yes. Must have plaster, yes. Must have science. Thank you, Golganek, for helping make that possible. Appreciate it. And Claire, thank you for spending part of your birthday with us. Really appreciate that too. Big shout out, big ups, Claire, for being, you know, such a stalwart moderator and YouTube editor and everything else. Appreciate you more than you know, Claire. You're the backbone of this community. Yeah. And Arthur Gone says, imagine you find something new or a missing piece in a stage of animal life that's amazing and brings even today's info for us. Yeah, exactly. And that's what we're doing here. Here in the Almond Formation in Wyoming, there are exactly 0 dinosaurs that have been named from this geological formation. So there's a whole chunk of time in a part of the world that's essentially unknown. We know there's dinosaurs here, but what are they? What are they like? We're discovering that. We're digging them up, and we should be able to name them. We should be able to publish on them. We're trying to, in a sense, resurrect these extinct animals for the world to see and enjoy. This is one of those missing puzzle pieces in the history of dinosaur evolution, and we're figuring that out, which is really cool. And that's due in part thanks to you guys, so thank you so much for that. Yeah. Now it looks like you dug up a zoo, says Jacob X. Yeah, that was the other site, the purple puzzle site we've already closed out. This one is a different one. We've got an ankylosaur and apparently and some turtles and fishes and crocs here. So we're finding every bit and piece that we can, and it's a lot of work. Yeah. And yeah, slurping up jellyfish. There you go, Zix Krychik. Yeah, leatherbacks are so cool. Dermochelys coriacea, one of the neatest animals around, if you ask me. Yeah, thank you, Slug Biker, for the bits. Really appreciate that. And To Passing Bottom says, what do you say to people who don't believe in dinosaurs, don't believe dinosaurs are real because of religious reasons? I'm not sure those people are real, to be honest. I don't know. I've never met a person who actually genuinely believes in their heart of hearts that dinosaurs aren't real. It's like believing that the moon isn't real or something. Like, you can see it. It's there, you know?
Oh, I met one in elementary school, Danny, and it like baffled me.
Well, that's hopefully they've come around since then, you know. But yeah, I don't know. Like, we're here excavating these animals. Yeah. Yeah, it's... Some people, I don't know, some people are kind of offended by the idea that, like, the Earth is really old and that there are these really cool animals that once ruled the planet long before us. That makes them feel small in a way that's threatening to them. But I think it's really cool. Know that we as human beings are not the biggest things around. Today we, hold a tremendous amount of power and we're really messing up this planet, but it didn't used to be that way, There's a time long before us when, these animals were walking around doing their thing, and just the very idea that we can figure that out, that we as human beings and as scientists and students and volunteers and everybody else, we can join forces today and work hard and excavate these fossils and get them studied and published, and that's so cool, Yeah. Love your work. Thank you, Passing Bottom. I appreciate that. Victorious, how are you doing? Hello, hello. Yeah. And Not Toxic says, what do you tell conspiracy theorists that dinosaurs are real? I mean, I'd say look at the fossils, Yeah. I don't know. I think it kind of comes back to that. It's like, if you can go to the motive, say, hey, look, I realize you're scared of the idea that, more to the history of this planet than just us. If you can kind of call them out on that, usually they fold pretty quickly. Because I don't think anybody actually truly believes that. I think they're just saying that. People on the internet say a lot of things, and you start calling them out, and I don't know. I don't know. It's not like they really have the courage of their convictions at the end of the day. They're just saying it to make noise, Yeah. Anywho, yeah. Alright, let's keep scrolling through. And Renfield. Yeah, that is a big problem here in the US, is like young earth creationism, and I don't know. That's the thing, is that the way to reach people like that, I think, is by doing work like this. When dinosaurs are like an abstract idea to them, then it's easy to, the Earth is only 5,000-6,000 years old, and dinosaurs either aren't real or they were actually dragons or whatever else people say. But the way to combat those false notions, is not by necessarily like just presenting them with facts, because they didn't arrive at those conclusions via logical means, so logical means aren't going to get them out of those conclusions. What you got to do in order to reach people like that is, you have to hit them right here, right in the heart. I mean that metaphorically, of course. You have to be able to get them to relate to you. I like to think a big part of the outreach that I do here is showing people how this process works. Like, this is how we actually discover and excavate and collect fossils and data. By seeing it firsthand, more or less, I hope that it really kind of hits home, that like people realize that, hey, this is real. What we're doing here is, this is how science is done. There's an old phrase that, it sounds really corny, but I think it's true. It's that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. It sounds really cheesy, but we as human beings are emotional organisms. And in order to get people onto your side, they have to be able to relate to you. They have to be able to see what you do and then see you as somebody that potentially they could be friends with, you know? You have to reach them emotionally on some level. And, I don't know. Long-form science outreach like this, you know, streaming from a fossil site for hours and hours on end, almost every day. You can get people emotionally invested in this by saying, hey, like, this is really cool. We're really passionate about this. Let us share that with you. And effective, you know? Anyway, I hope that makes sense. Let's catch up to chat here. Yeah. And there you go, that one guy. Yeah, those are nonsense videos. I could get into that, but we're gonna move on. Yeah. And Prince Nanerda, I'm not sure about... No, pyramids are not 10,000 years old. That's definitely not true. Yeah, you should... if you're not aware of Melissa in Denial, she's actually an Egyptologist who streams on Twitch. And she'd be more than happy to, you know, kind of introduce you to all the evidence around the age of the pyramids and how they were constructed and all of that. That's what she does, you know, as an archaeologist and Egyptologist. So go check her out. Go give Melissa in Denial a follow. She'd be thrilled to talk about that with you. That's outside of my wheelhouse. I'm not an Egyptologist. I do know that the pyramids are not 10,000 years old. But yeah, I don't know the details. And so I'm going to defer to an expert on that. She'll walk you through it. You'll like her. She's really cool. Yeah. And thanks. Well, you bet, Prince Nerd. Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, let me get some more water. Yeah. Anywho, I think it's pretty awesome that we've got 450 people watching practically, and that's without any big raids or anything. I think it says something about how want science, you know? This is without being on the front page. This is without any other kind of... This is just organic interest, I think. People want to be able to see how this stuff works. So, doing some jacketing over there. We'll go check in with them in a second. Ah. There we go. Yeah, I got to apply for that. But here we've got some more jacketing going on.
Yeah.
Oh, this fish are doing that. The dolphin dip, nice. Yeah.
Fisher specialty.
Yep. Dolphin dive.
Makes so much sense.
Yes. Beautiful.
Say hi, Derek.
Say hi, Derek.
And who cut these strips? These are beautiful.
Yeah, I did that on purpose.
Ooh, humidity today, 9%. Oh my God. Downright humid here in southern Wyoming.
I feel it in my sinuses. Okay, I got it.
And are these burlap strips Swedish made? And how much are these beautiful strips, Fisher?
Necessary jacket component, 81 krona.
81 krona.
That's so much.
Yeah.
Nice. And thank you, Spaceberry, for the gift sub. Appreciate that. Excellent. Dr. Irrefutable. Only the most high expensive scientific equipment, like jute fabric and plaster. I see you guys are a well-oiled machine over here. This is great.
Specifically this.
And Arthur Gahn says, so inside of that, is it a big bone or just the chunk of where the fossil is inside and then later broken apart? So in here, we've got 3 jackets all in a line right here. You can see a gap there. There's another gap over there where Derek is. Oh, sorry. So in these 2 ladder jackets, we've got 2 big fossil fishes and some other bones in there too, potentially. But mostly fossil fishes in here, some big gar. And then there could be ankylosaur bits in that one that's in front of Spencer's knees. I'm not actually sure what's in there. Again, Fisher and I just got to the site yesterday after working Turtle Hill for a better part of a week.
There's croc stuff.
Croc stuff in that one. So the one that's under the bucket right there. There's croc stuff in there. Nice. Thank you, Derek.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
No, just do.
Awesome.
Just to do it. I don't really know.
And
we'll take all the goo.
Oh, and football coach says, for us new viewers that have only seen your fieldwork streams, what kind of work do you do the rest of the year? Yeah. Ooh, good question. Setting me up to promo myself here. Yeah, so when I'm back in my office at home in the San Francisco Bay Area, I usually stream 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday. A big part of that is going over fossil news. So new scientific discoveries, particularly in paleontology. We go over new scientific papers as they get published, like when a new kind of dinosaur comes out, we're there talking about it as soon as I can get access to the paper. And the whole point is to show you, not just what's there in the news articles, but actually walking through the scientific literature itself. It's like we'll open up that PDF and we'll go through the paper and I'll kind of explain it to you bit by bit, answer questions. There's a ton of Q&A like we do out here too. So whatever questions chatters have, I'll do my best to answer them. Occasionally we'll watch clips of documentaries and stuff like that about fossil science. Sometimes I'll be interviewing other paleontologists via Zoom or doing other remote interviews like that. And then we have a lot of special themed days as well. Like I mentioned, World Tapir Day. We usually do a special stream for Fishmas, which is the discovery of the coelacanth, this fish that was thought to be extinct until a living specimen was caught in December of 1938, hence Fishmas, December 22nd, 1938. All kinds of fun stuff like that, yeah. The fieldwork streams are, I think, a particular draw. People really like these, and I'm always eager to share how we work in the field, but those office streams are a ton of fun too. So yeah, I hope you'll tune in for those. If you're here for just the fieldwork streams, you're missing a big part of what we do on this channel. So yeah. That being said, we'll be doing a lot more fieldwork streams this year. I know I said we're wrapping up here in a couple days, but I'll be doing more fieldwork in Utah from July 15th through about August 10th or so. And then I might be going back out to Utah a couple more times in the fall to do some more fieldwork. And then later on in the year, we're going to have TwitchCon. I'm going to be going to the Society of Vertebrate Paleontology meeting, SVP, in Birmingham in the UK. We might do some streams from the UK as well. That would be a ton of fun. I want to do some more museum visit streams. Yeah. Related to leatherback turtles too, if I can pull that together. That would be really, really neat to go to a nest, see the babies emerge or see a mother leatherback laying her eggs, get that live on camera. I think that would be super, super cool. So we'll see what kinds of things like that are possible in the next year. But I've got big plans. Yeah. Big dreams, and they're not plans yet. Yeah. And we need a National Paleontologizing Day, says it's two capping. It would be cool to have a paleontology day. There is National Fossil Day, which is usually October 14th, I think. But that might be... When is TwitchCon in San Diego?
You think it's need to board
It might be the same time.
I don't know. I think that one's okay.
Yeah. And Peppercat says, I say this almost every time I watch. My anxiety level is way down when Danny is on. My toddler loves watching Danny too. I appreciate that. It's flattering that, I don't know, I can help improve your day in some small way. That means a lot to me, and I'm proud to do it. Thank you for the kind words.
2 layers. There's like 3 layers on this one.
And nope, Claire, we're talking about TwitchCon San Diego. That's probably the European one. Yeah.
That we just did up top.
Yeah.
Down to the big
Danny has an excellent broadcaster voice. Thank you, Dr. Irfield. Yeah. October 17th, 19th. Thank you, Lenina. Yeah, shoot, that's what it was. World Sawfish Day. International Sawfish Day is October 17th. So we'll be missing that this year. But that's okay. At least TwitchCon and SVP aren't the same weekend like they were in 2023. That was a difficult choice I had to make. Do I go to the big paleontology conference where I'm going to have to pay a ton of money out of pocket to go there? Or do I go to TwitchCon where they comped stuff for me because we were on a science panel? I ended up going to TwitchCon. I'm glad I did. But it's nice when I don't have to choose. And that's really neat, Salamander. Nice. Future TwitchCons? Excellent. And October 15th this year is National Fossil Day. Shoot. I'll probably be on my way to TwitchCon if it starts on the 17th. So, yeah, I don't know. There's so many cool days, so many cool things. It's a good problem to have, I guess. You know? Yeah. And Princeton Nerdist says, do we know if dinosaurs had parasites? Did they exist yet? They must have, yeah. There certainly were parasitic organisms that lived during the Mesozoic and even earlier. I'm not too aware of any of the specifics, but there is a book that I could recommend if you're interested in the subject. It's called What Bugged the Dinosaurs. It talks about that. Yeah. And Peppercat says, my toddler just said when she grows up, she wants to dig fossils with Danny. That sounds great. Hey. Awesome. Yeah. Read some books. Do some learning. That's a great way to prepare yourself to go out and dig fossils. You know, when you're young, make sure you're always learning. It's really important. Yeah. Yeah, and then you can come out and dig with us. It'd be pretty cool. It'd be great to have you. Yeah. And let's see, that one guy, if you did a museum visit in the city I'm in, would you prefer to be left alone if you announced ahead of time you'd be there? I try not to announce ahead of time because, you know, it is nice to just be able to walk around the museum at my own pace and do that. Yeah, that reminds me, when I lived in Montana, in Bozeman, it's the same town as me there, but I would do a lot of tours for friends and family. I used to take a lot of first dates to the museum, and like show her around, give her a tour. It's really nice. But just at any time that I would be giving like a tour to friends, family, acquaintances, there usually would be like a little bit of a crowd that would accumulate, and like at first people would be like, you know, there'd just be one exhibit behind, but you could tell they're kind of like listening in, trying not to be disruptive, and then by the end they're right there and they've just joined. There's just a group around. That was always a lot of fun. Yeah. I really enjoy giving museum tours, especially at a museum like that where some of the dinosaurs on display are ones that I've helped excavate, like the Yoshi's trike specimen and Chomper Rex and stuff like that. Those are some of my babies. Yeah. Let's see. Were there known parasites back that took control of their host? Dinosaur example of parasitoid wasps? We don't have evidence of that, no. That sort of thing would be nice. Yeah. And Addicted to Capping says, I have a paleobotanist question. Do plants fossilize the same way as dinosaur bones? They can. Like, you can get fossilized wood, and the process there, I think, is pretty similar to the way that you fossilize bone. Since wood is generally already kind of a hard part, it permineralizes, you get minerals from the surrounding rock and the groundwater that seep in. But, yeah, for things like leaves, the process is often very different, as I understand it. You can get like a comb that sort of forms around them, and that can preserve the margins of the leaf and the center and the veins and everything.
Hey, Danny.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, do they want to see a leaf?
Oh, we got a fossil leaf here. Thank you, James. Perfect timing. Yeah.
I pulled it up right as that question came up.
Beautiful.
Kinda
Excellent.
funny.
Oh, yeah, that's a nice one. See that, chat? Thank you, James.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, nice fossil leaf there, and you see the veins in it? So this is different from like how fossil bone preserves, as I understand it. I'm not an expert in this subject. I don't really specialize in fossilization or diagenesis, but yeah, I think for some of these fossil plants, it's almost like you have a bacterial film that forms over certain parts of it, and that is what gets preserved. So it kind of conforms to all the shapes and the, even like the texture to a certain extent, and that is what facilitates the preservation. I don't know if that's the case with this one here. Yeah, fossil plants are usually, at least around here, they're very delicate. So like if you touch it with your finger, you'll mess it up. If you put glue on it, you'll mess it up. Yeah, they're very faint and delicate. So it is, I think, kind of different from the way that bones preserve. Awesome. Thanks, James.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Nice. So, yeah. And Jim says original carbon. Yeah, in some cases I think that, maybe in most cases, it's like the original organic part of the leaf is still there. Which is really neat to think about. Yeah. I'm not a specialist in fossilization, so that's about as much as I can tell you without getting too, yeah, without risking being overconfident and saying the wrong thing. Yeah. Should make a kids dino book. That's some ideas that I have, HD. Yeah, that's, I don't know. My priority right now for publication should be scientific papers, but I've got some ideas for some books, and there's one that I've already kind of started writing. But yeah, that'll be years in the making. And Jim says the cuticle on some plants is chemically nearly indestructible. I didn't know that. That's cool. I guess all that's, what? Is it like a lot of silica in there? Neat stuff. Yeah. And that one guy says, Danny's a paleontologist, but he just said he's not an expert on fossilization. Yeah, there's so much to be learned, and there's so many different people who specialize in different things. Like here in this quarry, we've got people who, they primarily do fossil excavations. We've got people who specialize or are working on different groups of dinosaurs. Like Ethan just published a paper on tyrannosaurs a little while ago. Yeah, we've got we've got Nick Oliver over here who just published on, was it Hyatt?
That's right.
Yeah.
Ooh. Came out?
Yeah.
Congrats, dude.
What did you publish on?
You gotta put that in chat.
Hyatt.
Yeah. If we could get a link to that paper, if an enterprising moderator could find it.
It's some 5-word German journal.
Oh, is it German?
Yeah, I could.
Yeah.
Are you the lead author?
No, co-author.
But
That's sweet, dude.
yeah, pretty neat. We'll get that in a second, and then people can look it up and read it. Yeah, Trinidad over here is going to be working on Irvingtonian fossils from the Pleistocene, so like camels, horses.
Yeah.
Maybe proboscideans.
Yeah, we do have a lot of mammoths at the museum.
Nice. Yeah.
I mean, gotta figure out what exactly could be done with the parts we have. But I mean, we have a skull. I guess the really big issue is getting the case off it to look at it, because it's got a huge, just like
often a problem with big critters like
Yeah.
elephants and sauropods. Yeah. Yeah. And then Peter over here has been working on theropod dinosaurs, and you've got an allosaur thing. Is it your thesis?
Yeah, it's my undergrad thesis, and we're working on turning it into manuscript for publication.
So, nice.
Forthcoming.
Yeah, awesome.
Yep.
So yeah, we've got a bunch of different people specializing in different things here, and yeah, I don't know. It leads to some really cool conversations in the quarry and in camp when we're talking about science, when we're not just making bawdy jokes and losing our minds. Yeah, see Spencer laughing over there. Yeah. Yeah. Anyhow. And what's the paper you wanted? Nick is looking for it right now, Claire. We'll put it on screen. Yeah, and then there's one of Ethan's papers too. If you look up in Google Scholar, Ethan Warner Cowgill. Ooh. Got some lunch going on here? Just invading your privacy.
Just eating my smashed sandwich from the bottom of my backpack.
There you go. Nice. Yeah, like a true field worker.
Peanut butter.
No jelly on yours either?
Every day.
Yeah.
28 days straight.
Heck yes. Yeah, that's me too. I'm actually getting a little hungry. I might eat mine in a little bit. Yeah. And Buffalo Safari says, what paper are you working on now? I've got a few, actually. The one that's priority is my like Spinosaur feeding ecology paper. Like, how did Spinosaurids catch fish? What can we learn about them? That kind of thing. Yeah. But yeah. And let's see. And that one guy, I don't know if we'll be having many campfire chats, at least here in Wyoming, because we might not be having very many campfires, because we're going to be working here at least until the sun goes down, probably for the next few days, and then it'll be time to leave. So I don't know if we'll be having any campfire chats on or off camera. We'll see. Yeah. And is it too late to show us the T-Rex tooth? It's not a T-Rex tooth, not toxic. T-Rex is not the only tyrannosaur. We have other tyrannosaurs from other geological formations. This guy here is going to be about, let's see, like 73, about 7 million years older than T-Rex, give or take. So it's not T-Rex, but it's a different kind of tyrannosaur. One that, it's very likely a new animal. And so Ethan's been working very carefully around that and looking for any more material. It could be one loose tooth. You could see it's here. Let me get a laser pointer and we can point to it. So we've got our first piece of tyrannosaur from this quarry. It's a single tooth, but there could be more. So Ethan's working really carefully around that, seeing if there's any other pieces. It's really nice to have. It's also slightly frustrating in the sense that it's slowing us down. We need to get all these jackets out of here ASAP. We've got a couple days left at this quarry, and that's it. So, yeah. Oof. There's the laser pointer. Does it work? Yeah, nice. All right, well, I can point to it without invading Ethan's space. And it is still in the matrix there, Diabetes Rex. Yeah, it's not out of the ground yet. The tip is out. We've already collected that. But the rest of the tooth is still there, embedded in the ground.
Plus, it was easier after I shortened this up. We're going to camp.
And Petrodactylus, we need to get these out Sunday night at the latest. That's what we're working on. So here. Ethan's working right there. I'll shine the laser pointer on the tooth. There it is right there. the tip of it has already been collected, but
Thank you.
so there could be more of it under here. Who knows, we could have a jaw or something. So that's why Ethan's working so slowly and carefully right there. It's important. This would be, that's really the best tyrannosaur material we have from the Almond Formation so far, that one tooth. So it's important, it's a big deal. Yeah. And what happens if material keeps showing up? Any new material at this point, we might just have to cover up and leave for next year. But each of these things that's been jacketed, we need to get these out. We're too close to human settlement here. There's too big a risk that people would wander in and just destroy these. Not necessarily out of malice, but maybe just curiosity. It happens a lot. So we got to make sure that we get these things out over the next few days. That's it's our top priority. Yeah. And how awesome if that whole chunk there is actually a skull, says Quick Squiggles. But yeah. Sorry, what was that?
Yeah, Luke. Oh, never mind. You already got it.
What was that, Ken? Oh, okay, we're good. Sorry. Yeah. Hoping the entire process goes smoothly. Yeah, that's why I really should probably wrap up this stream pretty soon, because I've got to help with trenching for some of these things so we can get them out. But yeah. Stormy says, will the plaster hold an entire year underground? It should. Yeah, if we put enough layers on it. One layer of plaster will probably degrade or get weathered unless it's really well covered. But the more layers of burlap and plaster you put on a specimen like this, the more likely it is to be able to survive over the winter. So the big hadrosaur that we were digging up at the Purple Puzzle site, that will have to last throughout the winter, probably, until we can get a helicopter out here. That's the plan right now, anyways, as I understand it. But with these, we're going to try and get each of those jackets out. We really need to before we leave on Monday. And we leave Monday morning. So again, we have today, what's left of today, probably about 4 hours today. We've got all of tomorrow and all of Sunday to get all of this done. So it's going to be a tremendous amount of work. Yeah. Will these be getting flipped soon? We might be flipping all of these tomorrow. We'll see. Or some of them might happen in a little bit, but I'm going to want to be present for that. I don't think I could be streaming during it. I'm sorry, Petrodactylus. We'll have plenty of other jacket flips in Utah next month, but I probably won't be streaming these. We'll need to have all hands on these because they're so big. And yeah. And that's why they buy the 81 Krona burlap. There you go, HD, yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Danny.
And, what you got, Trent?
I'm pretty sure this is mud, but I just want double confirmation before I get that out of the ground. I don't think that's bone.
Let's see.
Yeah, mud.
Yeah, mudstone.
Great.
Good spot, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pays to be careful.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And Crimson Carnotaurus. It's way too early to say what kind of tyrannosaur this is, but chances are it'll be something new. Probably. I don't think we have a Tyrannosaurid from exactly 73 million years ago, or whatever these rocks are. They're probably around that time, so it's probably something new. And man, we're getting some wind here. Yeah. But, anywho. That being said, I should probably wrap this stream up, and I gotta get to trenching this thing so we can get it flipped. It's just been me working on that today, and really need to get this done. So we're gonna wrap up early today. Hope that's okay with everybody. But there's work to be done, so let's go ahead and do it. Let's march to the top of here. and do a little send off. Let's see who else is streaming science on Twitch right now. Let's see. There we go. Watch. Following. Whom have we got? Don't go away just yet. We're gonna see if we can raid into somebody else doing some science. Let's see. Oh, GeoGym is on right now. For once we can raid into GeoGym. Let's do that. Raid GeoGym 2006. Beautiful. All right, GeoGym raids us all the time. I'm glad we can return the favor for once. Let's go talk geology with GeoGym. Thank you so much for being here today. Sorry it's such a short stream, but there's so much work to be done and I'm raring to do it. We may or may not be streaming tomorrow. This could be our last stream from the Almond Formation. We shall see. We might be running around frantic tomorrow. Might not have the opportunity to stream. So if it is, so long everybody, and thank you so much for your financial support, helping us afford that U-Haul. You guys are lifesavers. We really, really appreciate that. The whole crew is grateful. Thanks for helping facilitate scientific fieldwork here. Thanks for supporting science, not just science outreach here on Twitch, but actual science. This is going to make a tangible difference to all of us and help us succeed here. Thank you to the moderators for keeping this a safe and welcoming community for everybody. The viewers, the chatter, community members, I appreciate you more than you know. And wish us luck in getting all of this out. We are going to need it. Holy cow. Anyway, everybody, without further ado, let's go right into GeoGym. Bye-bye. Take care.